Welcome back to the channel. We're here and we're back talking about Wrexham Football Club. I've let the dust settle a bit over the past couple of days from the agonising draw at home to Middlesbrough, which meant we missed out on Championship playoffs. I've left it for a bit. We're back today with an important video. We're going to try and move on from it, but if we are going to talk about it, we're going to look at it in a positive light because it's been one hell of a season at the club in the Championship this year. We're going to be having a look at Ryan Reynolds' reaction to missing out on playoffs. We've got some huge news on the training facilities and infrastructure at Wrexham Football Club. We're going to be reviewing the official club's end of season awards, who won what award, my say on that, and we're going to be having a look just in general about the club we love, Wrexham AFC. So before we get going in today's video, if you're looking for the best Wrexham content on the off season, there's going to be plenty of it coming from the start of May up until the upcoming Championship campaign, the 26-27 season. Transfer news galore. We're going to be in-depth reviewing the pre-season games that Wrexham are going to have in America, Helsinki, and of course in Krakow over in Poland. There's going to be a lot of content to come your way, so make sure you click the notification bell. If you have subscribed already, that means you're notified every time a video does come out onto the channel. You can get it in the notification box and watch it as soon as it comes out. And let's go as well for 300 likes on today's video, and without further ado, let's get taking a look first on that agonising miss out on promotion. I think the general reaction from Wrexham fans on social media is exactly how I hoped and exactly how a lot of fans hoped across the world. It's obviously disappointment because we were so close. We kept consistent all throughout the season, but overall we are extremely happy as to how we've performed across the board of the season in the 46 games. The consistency that we have had since, I would say, the 5th or 6th game of the season up until the 46th for our first season back in the second tier has been absolutely phenomenal. And of course we're going to be disappointed, but we can only move on from it. We can learn from our mistakes and go again stronger in the 26-27 season. And something I do want to touch on first in the video is Josh Windas's Instagram post, and I think it's clear that I'm not going to make any assumptions, but I think he is referring to that miss at the end of the game in, I think it was like the 88th minute, where he had a golden opportunity just inside the box which he fired over the crossbar, and I think it has affected him. By looking at the words on his Instagram post, I think the most important thing to note from this is no matter what you think of Windass, of him as a player, his body language on the pitch, the effort he does put in running, not celebrating goals, whatever you want to think about Windass, I think it's so important to note that he is probably our MVP in this squad. He's come into a newly promoted side from League One to the Championship. He's jumped ship from Sheffield Wednesday, a fellow Championship side, to join a project at Wrexham where it was bold from him. It was really bold. It was a bold move considering he had offers from Coventry City, but he's come into this side. He scored 16 goals in 28 starts in a Wrexham shirt, the most from a player in our 161-year history in the second tier of English football. So you are looking at Windass as a player. He's probably, if not the best technical player at the club, and especially the one that I've seen at us. I don't think many players come close to him, but I think as well some people might compare him to the National League days. You've got to remember, this is, I think I saw, the 8th most competitive league in world football, and these are the numbers and the performances that Josh Windass is producing. So his eye for goal is excellent, his creativity is on another level, and I think he probably will go down as one of the most effective players and best players in front of goal in the club's history. And as we'll get talking on later in the video, we've seen him obviously getting the plaudits he deserves from the Wrexham fans, so let's hope we can see the same again from Josh Windass next season in a Wrexham shirt. So talking on our co-owner Ryan Reynolds now, he took to social media on Twitter and on Instagram to reiterate how well the journey at Wrexham have been on over the past couple of seasons, and to just signify how well we have done and how quickly we've risen and adapted to the rise up the leagues in the past 5 years. His message on social media was as follows: I'm completely gutted by today's result, but incredibly proud of our season. We've come a long way in 5 years, and this was the best result in our 150 plus year history. More to do, but for now we have so much to be proud of, which in a nutshell he has summed that up perfectly in a paragraph. I think this is a club that has massively defied expectations as each game went on in the Championship season week. Obviously that first game of the season against Southampton, I remember going into that, and I'm sure a lot of Wrexham fans are going into that thinking this could be the start of a long season. It'd be interesting to see how we did, but we held our own, and I think that was a sign. Although we got defeated late on, I think that was a sign of what was to come for Wrexham all throughout the season. The fight that the players did put in, the way they were able to match a newly relegated Premier League side who had these £200 million parachute payments, had a squad worth at least £100+ million to hold our own for that long. And like I said, I think it was a sign of what we could expect from this squad over the course of the season, and they did exactly that. They put 110% in every single game they've played. And I think for the players, for the fans, for the staff, it's new to everyone. Okay, there's been players that have played in this league before, but to mould a squad together that is playing for a club that has never played in this Championship League before, I think is just a really great experience for them to just develop as time went on. For the fans as well, we know what we can expect from the teams that we're facing next year, and so can Phil Parkinson and his staff. These are teams that Phil Parkinson has, had to do his homework on week in, week out. These are completely new teams that he's never faced before in terms of management, in terms of players, the way they play. At least in the Championship, you're looking at Stoke City, all those teams that are sort of mid-table. They'll know every single year what they can expect from these teams. Wrexham were completely blind to whoever we were playing. The next game week, we didn't know what to expect. We did our homework. Phil Parkinson and the staff, I'm sure, put so much effort in behind the scenes to make sure this was an incredible season. Yes, there'll be learning curves across the way for everyone involved, and I think we've really set the foundations up to build on it for next season and kick on, because I think a lot of people are understanding, and I don't think there's any shame in saying that this year in the Championship, I think it was a poor season. Obviously, we didn't see any teams break above that 100-point record. I think the automatics was completely up in the air for the automatic second place team to reach 80 points. I think there were some good teams in this division, but compared to previous years, the strength I think was a lot lower, which I'm not going to say is the reason why Wrexham did so well across the board of the season, but what I'm saying is next year, I wouldn't say to hold your expectations higher than what we have finished this year, because there's some massive teams coming down. There's some strong teams coming up in Cardiff and Lincoln City, and overall there's going to be teams in this division, the likes of Sheffield United, the likes of Derby, Stoke City, who are just going to push in the transfer window and push for an even better season to be more competitive in this league, because like I said, there were a lot of teams as well that massively underachieved this year, and that won't be the same next year. But I do think overall it's going to be really exciting next year. I think Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney are just embracing the challenge of what comes ahead for Wrexham Football Club, what lies ahead in the coming weeks, and I think there's a big task to do in terms of the players you keep and you let go in the transfer window. Who do we sign? Who do we bring into the club to help match our ambitions of getting that promotion to the Premier League? We'll have to wait and see, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. So talking on a big topic next, and a topic which I've covered a bit on the channel, and I think it's sort of been overlooked due to the redevelopment of the 7,500 seater Cop stand, but it's the training ground. Now, it's been a big concern, I think, definitely inside the club over the past few seasons, and especially in the Championship, is finding ourselves a permanent training ground. As we know at the minute, we share at Colliers Park, we share at Carden Park. There are two different training bases for Wrexham Football Club, which again is not ideal, but as we've seen of last week, we may have taken a step in the right direction in following that target in getting a permanent training ground. The club have confirmed just last week that a pre-application consultation has commenced for the installation of a first team building at Colliers Park, the joint training ground of Wrexham Football Club, which, if you know anything about player agents, about players joining the club, this is absolutely massive news for Wrexham. The training hub will contain a gym, changing rooms, physio and medical spaces, a kit room, a dining area and office space, and the club have said they intend to have this building erected and in use ahead of the 26-27 season. So it's not going to take long. It's big plans for Wrexham, and if we are looking at what our CEO Michael Williamson did say, he said the pavilion will significantly enhance our day-to-day operations, ensuring the first team can work solely in one dedicated facility rather than being split across both sites, which I have just touched on. It's not really great for the players to be travelling back and forth different times a week to different training bases. It can't be good for them, and it can't be good for the staff either. But I do think, like I've just said on player agents and players joining the club, it is a simple matter of being able to attract players of a higher calibre in the upcoming transfer window. If they're looking at this, they will want facilities that will help the players' development and the well-being. They want to join a club that is going to have the best physios, the best physio department, the best way to recover if they get an injury. Their well-being is going to be well prioritised when signing for a club, and if they are looking at this from Wrexham's point of view, they'll be looking at no training ground, no permanent one, split between both sites, no real designated space for the physios to work, for Phil Parkinson to work, the players to work. Even just having a dining room where the players can eat is just massive, and I think it's a big step in the right direction, and let's hope it'll all be up ahead of the 26-27 season, because like I said, it is big news for us. And finishing off the video with the end of season awards, it was last night in Wrexham. We saw a whole host of past and present former players attend it, and it did not disappoint, and I think it went exactly how we expected it as fans. Callum Doyle racked up the Young Player of the Year and the Players Player of the Year. And again, it doesn't really come as a surprise for Doyle after the season he has had in that left centre-back role. He's really settled in well, and I would say he's become a leader in that back line. Although we do have the leaders like Dan Scarr, like Dom Hyam in that back line for Wrexham, I think Callum Doyle is a future captain in the making, and I think he's shown qualities that he can go up to the Premier League. He's more than capable of going up to the Premier League and becoming a starter, whether that's for a lower league team, a mid-table team, whatever. I do think he is Premier League ready. What a season he's had. Like Dom Hyam said in his interview, it will be hard to keep him in the transfer window because there will be Premier League interest, but we'll do our best efforts to keep him at the club because he is one for the future, and hopefully it won't be Man City that try to buy him back, because I think at the end of his current 4-year deal, I know it's a long time away and there isn't an option for Wrexham to get him a new contract. Say next season we offer him a new contract which would scrap the buyback clause of Man City. As long as Man City don't want him back, Wrexham can just put the threshold for what we want in terms of a player fee for Callum Doyle wherever he wants, and I don't think we're in a rush to sell him anytime soon because he's one hell of a player in that back line for us. Player of the season went to Josh Windass. Now again, we've just talked on him earlier on in the video, but he's one of the most influential signings this season at Wrexham. 22 goals and assists he has registered in 46 games in all competitions. His best ever season in the Championship, bar that 1 year he did have for Sheffield Wednesday. I think it was last season exact, so he's hitting peak form at the right time of his career. Again, not bad for a free signing at all. What a season he's had, and well done to Callum Doyle and Josh Windass for picking up these awards. And I think Ollie Rathbone won goal of the season as well. So that is it for today's video. A bit of a shorter one today, but I think they are important topics to highlight and talk on. Again, it's the development of the club, it's the future of the football club with the training facilities, it's Ryan Reynolds' speech. You know, it's not often you do see an owner speak like that and really just be embracing the journey that Wrexham are on and sort of just trying to get across to the fans that this isn't the end of the world. We've got so much to enjoy in the next couple of years, and we've had so much to enjoy in previous years that it's just a tiny blip in the road, and there is so much more to come in the next couple of seasons. So if you did enjoy, make sure to drop a like. 300 likes is the target. Make sure to subscribe as well. We're on the road to 29,000 subscribers, and until the next one, take care guys. Up the Championship Reds.